and welcome to our first episode of the Loot Drop podcast. Joining me on my right is our own neighborhood Rathagen, and directly below me is Prezi J. And I don't care what they say about him, he's all right. Uh, I want to start today by thanking our Patreons. Shout out to Taylor, one down, a million more to go. Joining our Patreon at Loot Drop Pod, you get access to extra episodes, early screenings of the episodes, and the ability to submit questions for us to answer here on the podcast. There are 3 tiers, and I recommend if you want to get involved in that, just search us at Loot Drop Pod on Patreon, and thank you to all of our patrons. Now, I want to start today by introducing us so that you can get to know us, and then we can go from there. Wrath, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Rathagen. Stream a little bit on Twitch, play a wide variety of games, so it's a pretty good chance that I dabble into most categories. Other than that, pretty simple guy. That's all I really got to say.
Prezi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I sure can. I'm Prezi J. I'm just a straight gamer. I'm not on Twitch like these two are. I dabble into a bunch of different things. A lot of first-person shooters, a lot of esports stuff. Worked a couple different esports teams. So that's kind of where I'm at and kind of what I bring to this.
Nice. I'm Total Subbro. I stream on Twitch, and you can find crappy YouTube content as well. I'm Total Subbro pretty much everywhere. Prezi, I think you had something that you wanted to talk about today.
Something big is actually coming to the gaming market very soon. Very soon being like 2 days from when we're recording this. So the big thing coming up here on the market is going to be MLB The Show 21. It's a weird name, but it is what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down is going to be probably one of the best sports games it's going to be the first real sports game for the new generation and really utilizing the new generation consoles. But there is some like big stuff about it. One thing I'm super excited about is the creation of your own arena. Something that's been in sports games off and on. NBA 2K20, I believe, had it prior. Issue was you couldn't take it into multiplayer and it was always bugged. So you could like create it the first time off and then you never could create it again or recreate it or change it. MLB The Show 21 is bringing that to this market, which I believe is what it's going to be your first home court advantage is what I'm feeling, right? So it is going to be big. There's also like big things.
How will that play out for folks with that home court advantage? Like so like you're just used to playing on that field?
Well, and I mean everything will be changed. Like if you go to any ballpark right now, like if I go to Camden Yards up in Baltimore, I go to Nats Park in DC. Those are 2 completely different parks. Nats Park brand new, kind of. I mean, to the baseball scene, it really is. Nice new facility, wall. The back wall is your big thing in baseball. Way back out there. Where Camden Yards is just an older field. It's built different. It's a really cool old stadium. So the fact that you can create your own, you get to make all those different adjustments. They are putting some restrictions in to make it where, multiplayer is not going to be unfair. That's going to be their big.
You're not like, oh, my home field wall is actually only 2 feet behind the pitcher.
Right, and if you guys heard that, like the Xbox, they're literally going to be on Xbox Game Pass, right?
So that's a big part of it too. Is that it's a game that's actually made by Sony. It's a Sony first party game, but it's coming to Game Pass, and that's definitely stirred up a little bit of trouble. Like with folks on PlayStation, there are a lot of folks that feel a little jaded at the fact that like on PlayStation, if you want to play it day one, you have to pay $70. It's one of the new games that's $70 price tag for a brand new game. Or if you have Game Pass on Xbox, which is $10 a month, or like if you have like the Ultimate, it's $15 a month, right, for live. You just get that game day one. And so there are a lot of people that feel like Sony has kind of like wronged them in allowing it to go over to Game Pass, and they really want to see it maintain like its exclusivity to PlayStation. Wrath, I know that you're a PlayStation guy. Do you wanna chime in on that?
Well, I think what I would like to add to this, not really referencing MLB in particular, but Xbox in the previous generation, I think, admittedly, one of the faults of the Team Xbox is that there weren't really a lot of console exclusives. And if there were Xbox exclusives, they were also with PC as well. So, and a lot of the really good games, a lot of them were on all consoles. So the fact that PlayStation had more exclusives and then everything else is basically available on everything kind of contributed to them winning the war. What I think Xbox is doing really good is they're really investing in that issue because they recognize that that was an issue last generation, like with their purchase of Bethesda. I think that's going to be really interesting how that plays out. And I'm looking at a tweet right now where it looks like Xbox and Bethesda are going to have news that they will share with fans this summer. And from what I understand, unless they got something in the works in the background that we don't know about, that's probably going to be related to Starfield.
Hmm. That's at upcoming E3, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah. So it's going to be there. It's going to be a brand new IP for them. Sci-fi, kind of has Mass Effect vibes. So from what I understand, uh, with the quality of what they put out, obviously they have bugs and stuff with any game they launch, like they always have. But with the general quality they put out, that's probably going to be a very very hot topic to follow.
That's really fair. Talking talking about E3, like last year with obviously the Rona and like everything that happened, like a lot of like large in-person venues were like, nope, can't do that. That's not safe, right? Because you don't want like super spreader events, and people usually come away from those events with like a cold or the flu anyway, let alone like one of the most contagious like illnesses that we've had in recent history, right? This year, from what I understand, they're going to be doing like E3 digitally, but they're actually bringing it back. Whereas like last year, they just didn't do E3, right? And you had like individual consoles or companies doing their own thing. Like Bethesda did their own release, Blizzard did their own release, Xbox, so on and so forth. Um, I look forward to E3 every year. Like I've never been to E3, but I always tune in for the news, and that's always a news cycle that's huge news for gamers. Um, how did you guys feel like as far as having individual platforms doing their own releases or having large content drops from E3?
I I would say I'd rather have it all at once. It starts to create this dynamic where like, who's gonna go first, and then how do we have to like show up that group, and then do we have to like fluff a certain part to just make it seem like we're better than that group? Where like when you show up to a conference, and this is for anything, right? Like any conference you go to, whether it's video games or just like, I mean, I have friends that are going to a mattress conference, and like because they sell mattresses, and like they literally have to just make sure their product looks better than everyone else's right there right then. And so they've got to show you kind of what's like face value, rather than them coming out slowly. And like, Xbox releasing something that they've got exclusives coming out, Blizzard's not on it, Blizzard's releasing something to make it look like they're going to be better on this aspect, Sony's releasing this. It's just, I almost like them all being at one place and just having to focus on their own stuff.
I think that competition's important. I want to hear from Wrath, so like you go ahead and then I'll chime in.
Yeah, no, I think just from looking at it from a business aspect, I'm curious if any of these companies are going to go back to the way it was before anyway. Because when you talk about it, um, a lot of a lot of artists, a lot of conventions and things like that, they've sold digital passes. People have been willing to pay for digital passes to these events, right? And when you think about events of past, like BlizzCon, what, 2 years ago when they unveiled Diablo Immortal, that was the biggest meme on the internet. And they made sure that they knew right there in that event that, that was probably the worst idea that they could have possibly come up with for that fan base. So not only looking at it from, a cost perspective and that they can, do digital events, probably still charge for a lot of these events and people are still going to pay because the stuff is not going away for a long time, admittedly. Um, and they can also at the same time not sort of have those embarrassing viral moments like they had at BlizzCon 2 years ago. I think that they're probably seeing a lot of benefits from running it like this forever. So I'm curious to see if they're even going to go back to in-person events, or if they do, if those events are going to look the same, or if they're going to be totally different.
I mean, that's super fair. Like you said, from a business perspective, like, hey, it's got to be a lot cheaper to broadcast it. And then the benefit to going to those events in person is the swag that you ultimately come away with, right? Like you get the lanyards, the pins, the like merch and stuff, right? And if they're charging people, they could even just put those like gift bags together, ship them along with like your pass, so that you receive it when the event goes live, and you have the best of both worlds for everyone. People can tune in or watch it, after the fact. That's even something like that. If you paid for the ability to have that content, you could just watch the VOD whenever you want to watch the VOD, right? And you're not limited. That's probably a better way to put it. You're not limited to having to tune in, because right now, or in previous years, if you were someone in that news space for gaming, you had to be at E3. Like, if you wanted to have relevant info, if you wanted to be relevant in that discussion, you had to be at E3. You had to be present right there. You couldn't be doing any other things, because if you were off doing something else and like Bloodborne 2 got released, but you missed out on being one of those first people to report it, you missed that news cycle, right? You were late to the game at that point. Um, I prefer actually like the all digital, and only specifically because like the ability to maybe go back and rewatch it as a VOD, but also like just being able to tune into that content when I want to. It makes it more accessible. Because previously you'd be in like the middle of your workday and you'd be like you'd see like something blowing up on Google, and then you'd go to like tune into what's going on. You know what I mean? And it was like trying to play catch up with real time news as opposed to just being able to consume it when you want.
Yeah, but what you're missing though is, so like people like me, what I would do is if I show up to a conference, one, I have a prerogative to be there. I'm selling my product. And two, I'm trying to mingle with literally everyone else in that room. And every single person that may walk up to my booth, every person that walks up to another person's booth, there's side conversations, there's hotel meetups, there's dinners, there's lunches, there's drinks after, there's everything right around this. That's when business gets done. They always say the meeting after the meeting is only when business gets done, and that's true. And so while it's good for the consumer side, I mean, I was in high school waiting for Apple to release everything, and then like I noon in French class, I'm like looking on my phone, watching, them up there talking about the new release of the iPhone that I'm gonna go buy in a month. But reality is 5 hours later, I'm on their website looking at all the specs. So they've already got me there. So as a consumer, I don't they're there on the online thing. My thing is just I can't imagine that small company trying to get their step in online where the big companies are only caring about the other big companies. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're definitely going to have the juggernauts trying to slug it out. Like last year
Which they normally do.
when they were doing the individual conferences, like Xbox would say like, "Hey, we got this coming," and then Sony would be like, "But what about this?" And we had that back and forth. Uh,
Right,
Um,
which is so much better, I think, and we may disagree on this, which is just fine. But I just think having those backroom conversations with the buddies at the bar are more important for moving games along than just having the behemoths come out and just drop it all on us in our laps. So that's I
I
see
mean,
conferences kind of moving that way.
that's super. I mean, we had some of the best titles that released this year as indie games. Like some of
Oh,
the
it's
most viral games, like Among Us, right? Among Us, Phasmophobia. Those are all very small development studio, as little as one person development studios, right?
so I got a question then here. So, and I leave like Fortnite out of this conversation because Epic Games is own behemoth of its company that kind of runs itself, and they did marketing wise. I don't know if it's been done like that before. So, I don't think a lot of people can argue that their marketing wasn't top notch and like they weren't doing what they were supposed to put money in, into their company. My thing is like my example is the ALS challenge back in the day. You guys remember the ice bucket challenge?
Mm-hmm.
The reason they said that it was really bad for that organization is because for like 2 months, money just dumped into that organization. They were able to put all this research into ALS, which is great. It's a
And
great
then it
cause. They're putting a lot
instantly
of money.
dried up.
Then it's just all gone, right? So do indie games really benefit from these like big spikes if they can't keep the content up?
I think that's to be seen. I know, like with Among
Right.
Us, we just got like the new Airbus map. I haven't played it yet. Um, People seem pretty turned about it. Like I've seen some online
Right.
content dealing with it. Um, but like also like Among Us definitely is not in its heyday right now, right?
No, and I think that the games and Wrath can probably chime in. I think games are slowly trying to realize that like there's a time when we all have short time span. I mean, short attention span. My
Yeah.
attention span is as long as a TikTok video is, and it will be that for the rest of my life unless they come out with a new app, and then my attention span even gets shorter. Um, so for some reason, Among Us kind of worked out right. Where like I'm really hyped to go play this new map.
hmm
And I don't know if it was the perfect timing. They waited the right amount of time. They waited for empty space in the gaming market to fully update everything. But I mean, like, Wrath, Warzone's been out for 2 years and there's people who are still not bored of it. How's that? Like, how did Call of Duty do that? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not buying a game every year, you ain't doing Call of Duty right.
Well, the one thing I'll say about Warzone in particular, then I'm probably going to pivot back to some of those other games, is
Yeah.
there's still a very large population playing that game, admittedly,
Yeah.
right? But then you've got to talk about the silent frustration in a game like that.
Mm.
Trending like a week or two ago, there is a fix WZ clan tag that was trending. Okay. And it is simply talking about the prevalence of hacking in Warzone and the fact that they have still no anti cheat. They've done a little bit of saving face by, making these steps that make it look like they're going to address the issue, but then it's always, very little effort in the long run. And it's a band aid on a shotgun wound, basically. So it's still popular, but there's just as many players I think they're alienating by making that game impossible to be good at.
Isn't one
Really.
of the other issues right now with Warzone the fact that like when the new game comes out and new weapons come out, the attachments available on those weapons, like I was reading an article that basically, with the Cold War weapons, the time to kill dropped by like a solid like point 0.2 or point 0.3 of a second, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking like a Twitch shooter like Call of Duty, point like the difference between like 1 second and point 0.7 seconds. In reality, I think it's like point 0.8 to like point 0.5 in time to kills for these guns. You run into a situation where you like have to buy the new game to compete in this free to play game, right?
Well, so here's the thing about Warzone, and from being a Warzone player for the entirety of the first 8 seasons, I could tell you that this is their business strategy. So, as a company, um, their business strategy is that every season they essentially launch a new meta. They intentionally release an unbalanced weapon out into the masses. Okay. Then they sell skins for those guns. Okay. And then by the time that season dries up, they nerf it, after it's been an issue for 2 months. And then they release a new gun with the new season and new skins. And really, from a business perspective, it's absolutely genius because they make it so that people are going to spend their money. Me, myself, I've spent an embarrassing amount of money on Warzone and Apex and every other game like that. But, really, I think Activision has perfected how to reach straight into people's wallets for cosmetics with that game because not only has it's not really pay to win because that's not really what it is. Those guns are free with the free battle pass, but they have enticed people into wanting to look stylish with their guns that are intentionally designed to be better than any other gun in the game.
Rosa, you
Wrath, you
you
said you
play a
wanted to
lot of.
jump back to. Well, go ahead. You can go ahead too.
Well, I was gonna say you play a lot of Call of Duty. Like you were on actual teams for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you have anything you wanted to add there?
No, it's a beautiful model. Like, I mean, honestly, if I was a business owner and I was running the business, this is exactly what I'd want. I always attach it back to, and this is a different topic for a different day, but keep it in your mind. I always attach it back to NFTs. Everybody's like, why are NFTs so big right now? Like, no one would ever pay for digital art. That's dumb. Like, I don't want a picture. I don't want a video of LeBron dunking, on somebody else. Like, okay, cool. How many Fortnite skins did your kids buy? Those are NFTs, right? Like, so I can't, but those are NFTs that I can own. Like,
Yeah.
no one else can own that exact replica of whatever I have because it's mine. So my big thing is like anybody that's down in the NFT market right now, I just have to say, go ask any, 30-year-old parent how much money they've shoved into V-Bucks, and then come cry to me about NFTs, because I know several people that have just dumped money into those areas. And like Raz said, I've put an embarrassing amount of money into Warzone and Apex just to make sure that I'm cool, I'm trendy. And it's a good market. Like, they've done it right to make money. And if I'm a consumer and that's what I want to have, like, it's not their fault. That's what I want to have.
Yeah.
So, but Rath, you were talking about other games you wanted to back up to. I'm more than happy for that conversation. What would you want to go back to?
Yeah, while we're talking about NFTs, I do want to plug in my BitClout. You can purchase my Rathagen branded
Hey, buy the
cryptocurrency.
dip. Buy the dips. Anybody that wants to, you can get it on the Patreon. Message me personally. We'll buy the dips together. How about that?
Bro, Doge just hit 11 cents yesterday.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk that I sold it. I don't want to talk about it. I
That
don't
you
want to talk
sold at
about it.
6 cents.
I don't want to talk about it. Can we not talk about it, please?
Get you baited.
Yeah, exactly. It
So-
was a great debate.
Yeah, so pivoting back, we were talking about, like these companies that have created these games, are they really ready for the attention that they get sometimes?
Mm.
Like Among Us. Among Us, no one could have predicted how much that game blew up, right? Like, it was a year or two after the fact that it even rose to any prominence. But, I think that there's a lot of situations where games or creators get into these situations where they have these viral moments. And then because they're not ready with more content or talent or whatever that they're offering to the masses, a lot of times that flame is extinguished almost as quickly as it came, because they are not prepared to offer more content when they don't really strike when the iron's hot. So I would put Among Us in that bracket, right? Um, think about if you're a Twitch streamer, right, and you were rated by someone like Ninja or Ludwig or whatever, and then you didn't even have alerts set up, right? You had like the world's worst microphone. You sounded like crap. You had like a 15p webcam, whatever, and then it just went horribly. Like, you're not going to get anything from that.
Weirdly, I know a streamer that was rated by somebody pretty
Are,
big. That
are you
is exactly
coming
what
at my
you're talking
neck
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Bro.
Whoops.
Sorry, I wasn't making a reference to total bad streamer, bro. But yeah. Anyway.
I mean, it
Anyway.
happens. Yeah,
Anyway.
Oh my
but here's the
goodness.
thing, though. You're right, though. You're right on that regard. Like, you're seeing this every day, and I know it's a little topic, but it's relatively on topic. Every day you see like a TikTok person, boom, like overnight
Someone new blowing
success,
up.
1.5 million followers. They're making money on their lives, everything like that. And then you have talent agency after talent agency trying to reach out to them to grab their money real quick and promise them the top. And this is exactly where I say, like, season passes for any game period is where every studio should be. Rocket League's doing it now with Epic Games pretty successfully. Fortnite cornered the market on it.
Destiny 2.
Warzone's got it there. Destiny 2's got it. A lot of games have it because it's promising something right after that corner. And so if you hate this season, you're only looking forward to the next season, and you have a ticker going down, a when that's going to end. And those studios know that. And so, like, if you had something like Among Us that was like, cool, we're releasing it on this date, and it's like 2 weeks after the hype, you may be able to keep the hype. But the problem is, can you keep it going? And if your game's only like, I love Among Us, it's a great time. I played it with family, I played it with friends, I played it with Total Sunbro on stream. But if you're not like putting stuff out every week or every month. It's just not the attention span of a normal gamer is not that, not
Yeah,
that long.
you're gonna have that drop off where, well, like even for like a content creator that I like, Mr. Fruit, he went up over 1 million subscribers just from Among Us, like when it was popping, right? He was putting out like 2 videos a day, popping. He literally like doubled his subscribers on YouTube in like a 3 month period. But when Among Us started to fall off, and he's a variety content creator, right? When Among Us started to fall off, and he's talked about that, where his growth at that point also dropped off. Also followed suit. So you have some people I think that look for that particular content. Like you have some people that like they're ravenous, right, for like Among Us content, and that's what they want to watch, and they want to watch those like funny imposter kill moments. But like as a content creator, you end up in a position where when you're making that content, how many times can you record your imposter round, like killing everyone, right? Like how many times can you make that video unique and interesting?
That's what was really interesting about the blow up of that game is the amount of content that creators were able to just harvest out of that was the same as every other day they ever streamed it, and people would still watch it. And I think what that game appealed to was it appealed to it, it in a strange way appealed to very hardcore gamers because you had people that would find out like the very best ways to play that game, and it appealed to casual gamers because it was a very simple game to play, and even if you weren't very good at it, it was still very possible to have fun playing it. And I just, like talking about, flames extinguishing and things like that, if you've ever watched Disguised Toast, like he did so much to make that game big, right? But then, Jimmy Fallon played Among Us the other day, right? And Disguised Toast was nowhere to be found.
So,
And he
so
talked. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. No, no. Well, I was saying like that's my point though. Is Jimmy Fallon playing that now relevant? Like I understand like he's trying to appeal to a younger audience to get them in to look at his
Yeah.
show.
But he like
Right.
But is
missed
that
the
younger?
boat.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
he missed the boat.
But it's because he
Well,
has
that's like
it's because he has to go
AOC.
through so much
When
legal
the game
stuff.
was popular, AOC played with a bunch of streamers. They were streaming to like 500,000 people.
But that's because she doesn't have to go through any hoops, right? Like
Mhm.
AOC can put up her camera, turn on her computer, and she's now live with thousands of people. Where like Fallon has to go through NBC and the legal team and everything else that has to be around it to just go up.
I didn't
And
even
I think
consider that.
well, and I think like some attraction to this game, what Wrath was hitting on, which is like I you you feel included on a streamer's content when you have a potential of being a part of their content, right? Like if I give bits, my name is shown in front of a camera full of thousands of people. And so if I have an option, like we have a good friend that has roughly like 40, 50 people in his stream. It's a friend of Sumbro's channel, and he plays all the time, and I've got to play with him. It's just
Hmm.
because he was looking for somebody. And that's not the reason why I'm viewing him. But I mean, it's probably a reason I've gone back once or twice though. And
Absolutely.
so for that reason, it's enabled for that content creator to play with viewers in almost an open area. I mean, why is Marbles on Stream so popular? Because I can go in, my name's on that stream. At work today, I was bored. Put got to pulled up a stream, and I just put my name in a Marbles stream, Marbles, game. My name went there, got 10th place, jumped back out, and went back to work. I mean, it's just, it's that instant gratification, which is great. And that game gave it, I think, to content creators. So it's like, Wrath saying, just tons of content coming out for every kind of gamer.
Would you say that's a lot of like Twitch, like part of Twitch culture is that feeling of like inclusion, and being able to like have that interaction?
I think one thing that really makes Twitch unique is it kind of just feels like its own ecosystem in a lot of ways. And that when you first come to Twitch, you just don't really understand it. Like I remember, I think it was probably like my very first stream, and Sunbro was like, "No, no, 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 no! You don't type to the people that are chatting with you. You speak to them." and
Mm.
he had to tell me that. And at that point, I watched like very little streams, so I just didn't even get the idea. I just tried it on a whim. But it's just it's this own little ecosystem with its own little like social rules and jokes and like understanding that you just don't really get anywhere else. And I think that's really what makes it unique. I mean, try going on YouTube and saying PogChamp, you know,
It's
Oh
yeah,
where
yeah.
no. It's completely. So I before Mixer shut down, rest in peace. Um, like I had a couple, I had a couple
can we
content
insert some
creator.
sound effects there? That would be good.
Yeah, we should add some
All right.
sound effects. Just
Yeah.
Ninja's paycheck. Yeah.
Oh my
Just cha-ching
god.
for Ninja there.
Yeah.
Ninja and Shroud walked away. That's got to be the best deal that anyone's ever taken anywhere ever. Hey, do you want to
Somebody's
move
accountant and
platforms
lawyer is
temporarily?
making a ton of money.
Do you do you want to move platform for like 6 months and walk away with like $30 million, and then just go back to doing what you were doing? Yeah, yeah, cool. No, but so I used to watch over on Mixer a couple content creators that I like because that's where they had moved to, right? Um, and it's an entirely different dynamic with chat and the way people are. Um,
S-
Go ahead.
So the best thing in the world, I think, is that as a business owner, what your main goal is to make sure somebody feels comfortable in that atmosphere. So if you it's the whole cheers vibe, right? Like you come in and everybody knows your name, and it's gonna date me, but everybody knows your name and like it's just a fun environment and everyone really likes you. You find your own area. I can search something on Twitch and I can guarantee you, no matter who you are sitting in this chair watching it, you will find a spot that makes you feel at home. When I type in twitch.tv, every single time I feel like I'm at home. Doesn't matter if I'm at work, doesn't matter if I'm in my car, doesn't matter if I'm sitting in my office. I feel like I'm at home. And I mean, I jumped in and you find the nice thing is there's a variety of people streaming.
I mean,
If
that's
you had
literally
this
how I met you.
same kind of thing, I mean, it's true. That's how we
That's
met.
literally how
But
I met you. Like I knew that you existed previous to you coming into my stream through our mutual friend, but I
yeah,
had never spoken to you before.
no, and like today, I honestly, like I said, the Marbles on Stream thing. I joined into a Marbles on Stream gentleman who just got partnered down in Australia, and he was having this like great time and the most wholesome individual in the world. All he talked about was he had a raid from two people. He had 160 people sitting in his stream right then, all celebrating him. He's on his last like 4 games of Marbles on Stream. He's about to go raid somebody, and somebody raids him with 2 people, and he thanked that person and he shouted him out. And he said, "I don't care if you come with one person. I don't care if you just host me." He said, "You're sharing your community with me, and that's bigger than anything I can ask for." And that's the reason I'll go back and see that guy, right? Like he made me feel at home. When I followed him, he thanked me. Like I'm not gonna quickly unfollow him just because my name hit the screen because he thanked me. So there's little things that everybody does to make you feel at home, and I truly believe that that's where that Twitch is at. Twitch is unfortunately there's a lot of problems with it, but the reality is it's a really good platform.
How do you feel about the changes that Twitch has made to like its refund policy? Like if you go on Twitch right now and you sub to a streamer, you can within 10 minutes cancel your sub for a full refund, no questions asked. And when like Twitch will ask you like, "Hey, why did you cancel this?" One of the reasons is literally I just wanted to see my name on the screen.
And Wrath can chime in if he has any comments about that. So I go back. I don't have kids. Knock on wood. Very thankful for that at this moment. But if I had a kid that happened to be like 12 to 14 years old, my story of the day. Here's your Prezi story of the day. Another sound effect that we're not going to put in. Um, the I had my mom's access to her credit card when I was like 12, and I saw like the Apple mini clips that were smaller than a key, if anybody remembers those. And I wanted my name engraved on it, which are really hard to return. So I was like, cool, I can go on apple.com and just pay for it. So I bought it. Showed up in the mail and I said, Mom, I don't know how I paid for it. Like, I didn't mean to. Well, she also, online banking wasn't a real big thing then. Like, nothing hit her account. But if I had like a 14-year-old over there watching like Total Sunbro or Rathagen, and they're just like dropping bits into their account or making big donations because they want to see their name on stream, I'm gonna be like, yo, you don't make any money. What are you doing, kid? And I'm gonna go there and refund it. So that's gonna be a hard sell for me not to say that that's an okay policy.
I fully see where you're coming from. I think part of that is on the streamer. Like me
Oh,
personally, my stream is 18 plus, and I've been really clear with anyone that's like a younger audience member that comes in like, hey, if your parents are okay with you being here, you're welcome to be here, but like there's going to be content discussed here or there are going to be discussions had that I don't know if your parents are going to want to explain to you. Like if
yeah,
you have
but
questions for them, right?
Wrath, when you were like 14, would you have outed yourself in a chat? Like, yo, I'm 14 years old and I'm in this 18 plus stream. No, I wouldn't have. I would have just been there.
I would have been like, I'm 17. I'm like a month away from turning 18. I'm
Oh,
basically there.
100%.
I'm
Yeah.
basically there.
Oh, 100% would have done that.
I've had pretty good
100%.
luck. I've had pretty good luck with folks just being honest about like
Last
being
night
a
you
younger
had
person.
you had good luck. You had somebody that was going to raid you and was like, "Hey, I can't raid you because
I
of
can't rate you your
adult
mature content.
content."
And then immediately played the on stream. Oh my god.
It happens. It happens. Genitalia it's a thing of life.
That's what needed to happen. Just a whole raid team of people actively doing a Destiny raid, progressively yelling the word.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah,
louder
it
and
happens.
louder.
Yep. Yeah, Raph, how do you feel about this is a weird question because I never would have thought this is like a controversial thing among streamers, but like are you okay getting a tip and then somebody refunding it?
Well, I don't think that they can refund your tips if you.
Okay, no tip. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
That's through PayPal, right?
they
Like, that's not gonna happen.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. As long as you word it as a tip and not a donation, because they can
Oh,
get
fair enough.
a refund on a donation because no streamer is an actual nonprofit, so it's not considered a donation. It's considered fraud,
I did not know that.
basically. Yeah, so you have to word it as a tip, and if you word it as a tip, PayPal will actually fight it for you, and you
Some
don't have
winter
to worry about
changes
it as
stuff
much.
right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So all
Cyborg.
those streamers that have donation in their panels, go ahead and change that. But yeah, so I'm personally I'm okay with the policy just for the reason that number one, there's been times that I've subbed to a streamer that I regretted my sub shortly thereafter. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll drop in, and I really enjoy like the first 15 minutes of somebody's stream or something like that. I've got some money burning a hole in my pocket or whatever. I would love for people to do the same to me. So I'll just pay it forward, right? And I'll go in and I'll drop a sub on somebody that I've only been watching for 15 minutes. And then, 5 minutes later, I'm seeing some behavior, some sort of content that all of a sudden, like this stream doesn't really jive with me anymore at all. What the character of this particular person is not really what I'm interested in supporting. Whereas, like the first 15 minutes felt like sheep's clothing, and then, this next 10 minutes felt like wolf, right? So I think that's one reason is that, maybe streamers should know when their content is not pleasing people that could be refunded just as quick as it came, right? And then there's all sorts of stories where you got streamers that think that, like there's clips where people are basically saying, who can't afford to sub to me? Like who can't afford to give me $5 that's in this chat,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Those
You
are
got people
literally
like
the
you
worst
got
thing I've ever
yes,
seen.
you got people like that. But then on the flip side of that, you do have those situations where you got, like Teeny Bopper, whoever coming into your stream that shouldn't be there, but they are. They got mom's credit card. Mom gets an alert from her Apple Card purchase on her iPhone and then immediately goes in and, takes care of business. Yeah, that at that point in time, like it's just the right thing to do.
Mhm.
Now, that being said, I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah,
No,
fair
I'm
enough. Well, okay, hold on, real quickly. As he brought this up, I had a question earlier. I didn't mention it. We're bringing it back. This is called the full circle here. You talked about like for some reason you said something with money that made me think about $70 for a game. I'm sorry. I know this is bringing it back to the very beginning.
no.
Is
That's fine.
$70 worth it?
It's a no. think
Like,
about
I don't want
think
to pay
about the
$60 for a
think about
game that
the
I'm only going to play
best
for a
deal.
week.
The best deal in gaming right now, bar none, is Game Pass. Okay,
I mean, I'm not
$15
happy with that decision, but yes, it is.
$15 a month, and it's not even like you're getting like the mom, can we get chicken nuggets, and they're like, oh, I got chicken nuggets at home. Like, it's not even games like that, right? It's not even like, oh, we have video games at home. It's new releases. Like
Okay, and I want to mention that he is not sponsored by Microsoft. He's not like there's no one. He's not reading a prompter. But
you've got
you do have a point
Outriders.
here.
You've got Outriders, which is not a Microsoft studio. That they're just a
Yeah.
developer, right? You've got Nikita Boy, which just released day one on Game Pass. MLB The Show, that's a Sony game on Game Pass, right?
Jeff, you've known him longer. I hate when he's right.
Well, all I have to say here is that I have the argument to games being worth $70. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. It's one singular title, and I think that everybody on the planet is going to agree with this. Cyberpunk 2077, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One edition.
I was
Totally
waiting. I thought you were about to say Minecraft
Totally
Java
worth
edition.
$70.
The
Minecraft, wow.
Minecraft
it's gotta be
Java edition, $70 tomorrow.
Well, there was an
Cyberpunk.
There was an EA like board member that was quoted at basically what he was saying was like, I feel consumers are ready for the $70 price point. And literally, so like a whole bunch of news outlets and like video game reporting people basically took that and were like, hey guys, how do you feel about $70 game price points? And the overwhelming response was, lol, no. Like, you just...
Okay. So let me play devil's advocate here. Let me be the Rathagen of this chat for like 2 seconds. You were playing devil's advocate earlier. So let's say it's going to be high-end content, okay? MLB The Show 21 is going to be next-gen kind of level stuff. We're going to be using the controller that is a gimmick. We're going to be using the consoles, which is a gimmick, just buy a PC. It's like we're going to be doing all of it, right? And I'm a developer. I've got a graduate degree out of wherever with a engineering degree as well that just deals with gaming. I want high dollar pay. How are you going to pay for that? Right?
Through
you have to charge a
microtransactions and
premium.
monetization?
No, you have to. Well, okay, that's a great point. But you also have to pay. Like, you also have to be up there with all the other like organizations that are in this field.
Here's the thing: your highest grossing games currently today are free to play. Fortnite single-handedly funds the Epic Games Store, okay, through V-Bucks and microtransactions. Did you see the earnings report? For Epic Games, Epic Games Store has lost $333 million in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
a third of $1 billion. And you have that game or that company's CEO come out, Tim Sweeney came out and goes, I look at that as a win. I look at that as a win for gamers. And of course he's putting his spin on it, right? But at the same time, companies are moving forward, especially with millennials and a younger generation, companies are going to be a lot more successful long-term with pro-consumer strategies. Which is why Microsoft, I think, at the end of this generation, Microsoft will do very, very well for themselves because of how pro-consumer they're being. You have the Game Pass, not only counting Game Pass, right? But you have smart delivery, which is if I buy a game on my old Xbox One X, and then I get the new Xbox, the Series X, I don't have to purchase that game again. I just get the upgraded version because I bought that hardware. Whereas if you're on PlayStation side of the fence and you buy Cyberpunk, okay, Cyberpunk might also have smart delivery, so that might not be a good example. But regardless, you buy random game A on PlayStation 4. Christmas comes around and you got that PlayStation 5. You beat all the bots out, you got the PlayStation 5. You can play the PS4 version on PlayStation 5, but if you want any of the additional functionality, like the quick save, the controller support for the dynamic controller or whatever, you have to go out and spend another $70 on that same game that you already bought. Spider-Man is a good version of that. I'm sorry I didn't think of that initially. But like the new Spider-Man, it's separate types for PS4 and PS5 entirely. Like you have to, if you wanted to experience the content on both platforms, that's going to cost you $140. Whereas on Game Pass, if it's an Xbox like first party game, it's guaranteed going on Game Pass. So like if you already have their online service, you just get that game and you get it at its peak performance on whatever console you have it on.
How do y'all feel about Google Stadia and the idea of just streaming video games? It's been tried several times. I don't remember what the first company to try it was. Maybe you guys do. But
Shadowplay.
they've been trying this for what, a decade now? And to me, it's pretty much only a product that applies to like fiber internet customers,
That's not true.
because I'm not saying it is true, but the point I'm trying to get at is for most people that don't invest in high end internet, it's not really a sustainable, you know,
So when
avenue to go by for games.
so I haven't experienced Stadia in particular, but I did use the GeForce Now, okay, and I used Xbox's Stream Xbox service. Okay, the streaming Xbox service was like C tier. Like I have good internet. I was on Wi-Fi at home and it was C. I'm gonna call it C tier. Now GeForce Now on my PC with an Ethernet connection, very little input lag and it was very playable. Okay. Um, I think that with Stadia moving away from developing games, overall that's going to be good for games. I think with Stadia moving away from developing games, they're going to be able to invest in infrastructure to enable crossplay between games. I really want to see a point in the near future where on PC I can play with my friends on Xbox, I can play with my friends on PlayStation, and we can sit in Discord calls or what have you, and that can happen seamlessly rather than like going through all the hoops that we go through now. Because even games that have crossplay now, some of their functionality is a little borked, right? Like when we play Warzone, sometimes the team comms are like completely scuffed. We have to give up and like go to Discord, and then you're sitting and you've got your game headset on and you've got like an earbud underneath, and it's like a whole thing, right? And that can be like a little annoying.
He's right. I fully agree with that statement there. Um, I'm hoping moving out of gaming so they can focus on something else, because I agree with you, Raph. I think that definitely appeals, and obviously it definitely appeals to somebody that has better internet. And I mean, I got a bill from Comcast like 2 months ago that said, "Hey, we're putting there's gonna be a limit to your internet usage." And I was like, "What? Wait, hold on, time out, time out." Like I have 800 down. What are we talking about? Limit to my internet? You want to know how much money I pay a year just to make sure I can do this? Where I live close to a city where the city has city Wi-Fi. And like while it's not maybe the best stuff, like they recognize that it's a necessity. It's as good as food and water, in your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah, so
So
I got that same text message. What I really appreciated is they were like, "So we're updating our policies to, include a data cap, but understanding that this change may be difficult for you, we're going to credit your account for the amount that you would have owed us for the next 2 months just to help you adapt to this change because we are wonderful people and we're a
Yep.
great business and you should keep purchasing your internet from us."
so
Yeah, they definitely
is
painted it right.
is capitalism gonna capitalism? Like, are there any ISP providers that aren't doing the data caps?
There will be, but the problem is in a majority of areas in the United States, there's no access to it. And so like right now, where I'm at, there's only one provider for my area. I
Do you feel
cannot
like
get another provider.
Same,
do you feel like
same.
antitrust laws should step in at that point?
I
Well,
feel
there's
like
probably several things that should step into that freaking point.
the thing is that there's no shortage of cash lubricant in the government to help grease the
That's fair.
wheels of the companies that have those antitrust issues. and to go ahead and stop the wheels of all companies that would interfere with that. So
Well,
Yeah.
you
Well,
would
you did see
think
that they delayed it till next year, though, right?
you would think that you would have like even like Netflix fucking uh honestly Netflix is like the largest use of bandwidth in the internet period. But like you would think streaming services would be pushing back really hard against that. Because
Yeah. No, they
what
definitely
happens when
are.
you hit your data cap and you're trying to binge watch the like 18 millionth season of The Walking Dead, right?
you get
Your middle
So
Carl
I
has just
will.
come back from the dead and now you're buffering and you can't watch anymore because you hit your data cap.
No, I will say that they did push back on it and they did delay it until next year, because like I hit the cap. I was over that cap. And I'm not sure. Like it's only two of us living in this house now. I am running a gaming PC. I am gaming pretty much every day. I'm in Zoom calls every day for work,
Bro, I
stuff like that. But
promise
it's
I
a
would blow past that.
necessity.
I promise I would blow past that.
I don't know about that. You don't stream very much, and you don't really play a lot of games.
Literally
what he does
logged
is pretty
like
bad at
30
them.
hours over the weekend.
Yeah, well, it
So
happens.
So when you hit the cap, Sumbro, the way it works is that then they just tack more money onto your bill up to a certain, like there's a maximum threshold. I think it's like $50 is what they were saying for now until, like the consumer is ready for the $100 price point.
Yeah, but that's
So
so like I don't
Well,
like
they're gonna
saying the word slippery slope, but that's a slippery slope. Like it's only $50. It's
yeah,
only
but they're gonna
$100. It's just
they'll
the
include
tip.
another package soon enough, though, right? Like they'll have a package that'll give you gigabyte down internet, which half the people can't get, and it'll have unlimited internet as well, right? So it's Verizon did this exact same thing, and so did every other telephone company back in the day. So very first off, out of the gate, they came out with unlimited data, unlimited texting, unlimited messaging.
Mhm.
Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, that's great for our flip phones that we don't need data for." And so they slowly started to introduce it. And then when they started getting phones that needed it more and more and more, they went to a data package and you get like 10 to, whatever. And that was a problem because then they just, like you were always
To
going
be
over.
fair, even Heather and I right now, the cell phone plan we're on, we have specifically unlimited everything with no data caps.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we
But
pay
like
a
there's some
premium
people
for
out there
that
that still
plan.
pay for it. Correct. But my thing is like they started out with data package plans and now if you go to Verizon right now and try to get a data package plan, you're not going to find one. There's just different forms of unlimited. And so that's what these companies are going to start to build into are these different forms of unlimited. They're on the very beginning steps of it because they've been letting you do unlimited forever and they're like, "Wait, hold on. We can charge the average Joe for every megabyte they download,
Hmm.
but we're not. Like we're missing out on an aspect there." So, that's what companies are going to go.
Freaking microtransactions on your data download.
I mean, it's gonna be reality.
You wanna
eh,
download this game a little bit faster? If you drop $5 into your account, you get this 20 minutes faster.
That's what I'm doing now. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm paying for faster internet so I can play with you guys and not get anteatered every 20 minutes.
Mm.
so I got to pivot back on something real quick, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess at this point we're pivoting back so much it's more like a hexagon or something rather than a circle.
Oh yeah,
But
it's got to be.
speaking of NFTs, this is
Oh, here we go.
a little bit old news, but I really wanted to talk about this, and I just found the article. So, more than 80 million people have watched a TikTok video in which Idaho man Nathan Apodaca, I'm not sure if that's how you say his name, swigs from a bottle of ocean spray while skateboarding to Fleetwood Mac streams. I'm sure we've all seen that. Viewers didn't pay a penny, but they will now have a chance to buy the original 23-second clip for a potential starting bid of $500,000. So I don't know if you guys want to go in three ways on that, but I'm sure we all have a couple $100,000 lying around burning a hole in our pockets
I will put
for
up the
an
first
NFT.
half if you two can figure out the other half. I'll do that right now today. I want the ocean spray guy sitting in a digital frame behind me every single day. I'm telling you right now, if we can only get to like, I don't know, 400 to 400,000 Patreon subscribers, we may be able to purchase something like that. But
I just
okay,
wonder.
how cool would that be though? I know
What I
I'm the Gen Z out of this group of boomers, but like, how cool would that be to have that?
hashtag cancel Prezi J.
Oh no,
What I re-
don't throw it at me. Don't
what
at
what
me.
what I really want to know is like what kind of manager did this dude get that has been able to capitalize on his success so well? This dude has an Ocean Spray branded truck that was gifted to him by Ocean Spray for all the publicity that they gave him.
So today, so the hat I'm wearing, I'm a big fan, and this may come up on the future podcast, but I'm a big fan of the Washington Capitals hockey team. Will work for
I'm
them
sorry to hear
prior, and that company, and it's okay. You can have bad taste. It's
I
fine.
thought he was going to say Logan Paul.
Excuse me. Please do not talk ill of that individual. I appreciate you. Thank you. We've now, your time's up. I'll meet you for the rest of the time. The big thing here though is today they posted a TikTok, like the Caps posted a TikTok, a hockey NHL team posted a TikTok of a new guy who just joined the team off a trade deadline, and he was doing the Ocean Spray, rolling down the street with like the bottle and stuff like that. Well, I said personally, like, whoa, that was like so 4 or 5 months ago. I was also like, oh my gosh, that dude is so cool. So, like, at what point did this dude not capitalize so much on that Ocean Spray video that it literally like made me think months after the fact that that's still so cool? Like, it's
I mean, he's smooth
brilliant.
though. That
I
guy
mean,
was smooth
okay,
on that skateboard.
and I
Have
appreciate
you
that
ever
company
ridden a
jumping on
skateboard? I would
fast.
have
Like,
waterboarded myself with that Ocean Spray.
I understand, but my thing is like the Ocean Spray as a company did so well right out of the gate. I've never seen a company jump on something so fast and then capitalize on it. So my grandmother's been drinking Ocean Spray for like, I don't know, probably 50 years or something ridiculous.
I drink
Like
Ocean
every
Spray.
day. Okay, well, you're as old as my grandmother, but I don't talk about
The
that.
cherry cranberry juice is delicious.
This is insane. This kid
So,
is old as dirt, but like she's not rolling down a skateboard like that. Like this is still NFTs are the way it's going, man.
so what interests me about that is when you think of Ocean Spray. Ocean Spray has had the same television commercial playing for as long as television ads have existed. It's just a couple of dudes standing in some cranberry bog down in Louisiana or wherever the grow cranberries, right? And it's just this like real farmer take on cranberries, right? And it's the same commercial basically reshot every year for the past what 70 years, right?
Oh, hands down. Yeah, it's the same
Absolutely.
guys. They just never age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the power of cranberries.
But then those people have managed to latch on to this viral TikTok sensation. And not only his video, but all of the parodies that spawned afterwards. Like I don't
Brilliant.
know if you guys saw the one with the dude wearing the like pumpkin sweatshirt with the
Oh yeah.
jack-o'-lantern helmet, like he literally carved a pumpkin to fit over his head. And
Yep.
then through the mouth of the pumpkin just dumped pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks all over himself as he's
Yeah.
skateboarding down the road. And I mean, like, talk about free publicity, man. And they really did do a great job capitalizing on it. But that's what's amazing is such an old school company with, really no clue how to market to, the Gen Z group somehow just magically latched on to all this free marketing like it was nothing.
Here's my question to the group. And mainly just Sumbro real quickly, because I'm gonna ask this question, see if he answers this. Sumbro, if I proposed you, let's say there's a D2 Destiny 2 raid, like showdown, right? And like the top creators were gonna be in it. And they were just gonna be like racing to the finish. Let's say it's Last Wish, let's say it's DSC, let's say it's any of those raids, right? Let's say it's DSC. Everybody knows it, it's a quick strike, everybody's running through it. Okay. Let's say Glad's in one of those groups. Okay. Let's say he gets to the end, he finishes the boss, and he's like freaking out, right? Let's say that goes as an NFT for like $100. You could own the minute that Glad won the D2 Raid Championship and celebrated it. You're the only one that owns it. Would you buy it? $100.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably.
can I ask a question?
That's a
Please
hard.
do.
Go
Please
ahead.
do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I map this video onto? If so, the answer is yes.
Oh my gosh! If you can map this character onto
map
your
it so that it's
Fortnite
green
avatar,
screen.
you
Listen,
got
crypto NFT people, that's the meta. Okay, you really want to sell your stuff? You really want to convince people to
We'll
buy
keep
it?
it on the low. Keep it on the
Just,
low. We gotta keep this down. That's
just
brilliant. That's big
So,
mind stuff.
so I am still personally hesitant on
censor that out.
NFTs.
Oh, but you're not though, because you just bought one. Like metaphorically, you're not on the edge of anything. You're willing to buy something of a guy you don't know, you barely watch, and
I
you
watch a lot of
barely play
Glad.
that game.
I think we're all just scared to tell our wives and girlfriends what that
Amen.
$100 is on the bank statement.
Oh, 100%. I'm still considering this $500,000 for the ocean spray guy. I'm gonna see what bank can give me a loan tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
I'll at least start the bid off.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today on our first Loot Drop podcast. If you've enjoyed this content is always free. If you want more, though, it's available on our Patreon where we have extra episodes, including our After Dark episodes. We're going to be moving there now. Thank you so much for your patronage. Thank you so much for your time viewing or listening to this. This is available on YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll see you on the
Don't
next one.
forget to like this and subscribe to this. It helps the algorithm. And don't forget to comment down below what you're thinking about what's coming up. If you think that NFTs are dumb, if you think Sunbro buying a $100 Glad video is dumb, put it down below. It's going to
Tell
be
us.
really important for this algorithm. We want to hear the Sunbro hate in the chat. Like that'll
Roast
be
me.
really
You
important
won't.
for the future.
Before we end, Prezi J, where are you on the internet and where can we find you?
I'm Prezi J anywhere you can find me. So just find me at Prezi J. You can search it. Just don't search me where you shouldn't. So
Rathagen, where can we find you on the internet?
At Rathagen everywhere, but mainly on Twitch because I don't post anything anywhere else. So definitely follow me on there. And I do have to say that the Loot Drop podcast After Dark sounds like something that would air on HBO like after 11 p.m.
oh, this is like the 500 Club. Like no one's ever watched it, but when you get there, your mind's open, bruh. Like you know what I'm talking about? Like you talking about buying the dips. You're buying the dips in the After Dark section.
My name's
Yep.
Total Sunbro. I'm Total Sunbro.
Oh, nice.
Rath, what were you gonna say before we end?
I appreciate you guys so much. If you are interested in more terrible content like this, then just at Total Sunbro everywhere.